Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Hope you had some breakfast and some coffee or tea. And I know folks will be coming in throughout the day, so feel free to take advantage of the nice setting. We've had a number of comments, and I was reflecting on that myself this morning, how nice it is to have this facility and be able to kind of come and go easily on the campus here at CSUMB. And so for those who may not have been here yesterday, I know there were at least a couple that I have talked to this morning. I'll just say a few opening remarks that might be somewhat repetitive, but to begin with, my name is Josh Metz, and I'm the Executive Director of the Monterey Bay Drone Automation and Robotics Technology, DART initiative. And on behalf of our board and our many cross-sector partners, I'd like to welcome you back here for the second day of our event. And we're excited to be here to re-engage on the economic development potential of these technologies for our business development, for our communities and our workforce, and for preparing people and our communities for the future. So as I was noting, we're lucky to be here on the beautiful CSU Monterey Bay campus. And as has been mentioned, this is the former Fort Ord, which for many, many years served as the West Coast training for the Army, for the infantry. So for almost 100 years, this was a place where young men mostly came through here and were trained and educated in various important arts. But in 1994, it was transformed from a military focus to an educationally centered reuse program, with the CSUMB campus being the centerpiece to all of that. And that's where I kind of came into the scene, not in 1994, but in 2013 to be part of the reuse authority here at Fort Ord. And in that process, I met many people that we've had the chance to interact with just even over the last couple days. But one person in particular, Dr. Larry Samuels, was always a presence from pretty much the first day I was here. I was actually at a symposium like this. It was called the Fort Ord Colloquium in this room. And Larry was talking about his vision for a regional organization that would work collaboratively across 3 counties to advance economic priorities and economic development and education. Since that time, we've both gone on to do various different things, but Larry has gone on and is now the Vice President for Strategic Initiatives and the here at CSUMB, and the Executive Director for the University Corporation. Not only does he hold these important leadership titles at the university, but he remains a champion for Monterey Bay regional collaboration, economic and community development, and it has been instrumental in bringing together the partnership that we'll be talking about later on between Joby Aviation and the Irvine Foundation and DART. So Larry's going to give a few remarks and welcome us to the campus today. Welcome, Larry. Good morning.
Thanks, Josh. Good morning, and welcome to CSU Monterey Bay and the second day of the third DART conference. The third DART, yes, got that right. Really pleased to see the energy here today and yesterday, and that's the resonant energy with my past in technology, the kind of energy that a budding sector like air mobility or eVTOL needs. So I brought a speaking prop with me today, mindful of things. And those of you that know me know that I like to chase mushrooms. So this is a porcini, or a Boletus edulis, that I foraged this past weekend. So when you look at this mushroom and its size, consider that it grew this large in 2 weeks. Very interesting growth property that genetic researchers are trying to figure out and isolate, and a property also that successful tech companies have. Growing big fast is important. What is known about this mushroom is that it would not grow at all without mycelium. Mycelium is that component in the soil which allows mushrooms to generate. And there's another analog to technology, which is in successful tech environments, you need a mycelium called education. Education takes the form of training. It also takes the form of research. And CSUMB, as a workforce education or a comprehensive university, is engaged in a very aggressive effort with our community college partners in this region that we've called the Monterey Bay College Pathways Partnership. And this is an effort to articulate all shared majors in a 2+2 or 4-year pathway effort that guarantees qualifying students that they can come in and get out in 4 years with the degree of their choice. While that feels like that would normally be our job, and to some extent it is under the California Master Plan for Higher Ed, this will be the first time that that's ever happened in the state of California in 60 years. So, sad but true fact. But this kind of coordinated effort is essential to create the workforce and skills that a nascent industry segment, particularly on the tech side, needs. Adding to this mix is, on the research side, is UCSC's CIDR initiative, which is part of the broader UC Citrus initiative. And that brings advanced research to the table. And we're lucky also we have Naval Postgraduate School, who is a wonderful holder of great ideas, but it's the US government, so not necessarily as much of a partner in that effort. And we'd like to see that change, and I know that DART has had some successful partnership in the past. We'd hope that that would grow. That kind of mycelium is, I guess, analogous to Fred Terman's efforts at Stanford that triggered Silicon Valley. And while that might be a very high bar, having hitchhiked through Silicon Valley and Cupertino and Sunnyvale in the early 1970s, it was all orchard. So while we are largely dependent on agriculture and tourism in this region, with a foundation of education, we can transform, and we're starting to do that. And what this symposium reflects is the kind of partnership that we are completely committed to, and that we really believe will support the growth of air mobility and eVTOL in this region. Now, the mushroom has another piece of story to it. About 6 years ago, I was foraging in an area of the Santa Cruz Mountains just north of Santa Cruz called Bonnie Doon with a friend of mine named Joe Ben. And we'd had a good day. We were relaxing with a glass of wine, and he talked about his frustration and the need for his new company to find an FAA-certified site to be able to build out their next phase. I was new to CSUMB at the time, relatively, but I knew that Marina Airport was a very interesting possibility for this. And so I relayed that to Joe Ben, who then took it from there. And for those of us that were out at the Marina Airport last night, you saw the extraordinary efforts and initiative that Joby has engaged upon there, and what we think is a foundation for a whole new workforce initiative and a new tech revolution in the Monterey Bay region. Here at CSUMB, through a grant from the James Irvine Foundation, potentially significant follow-on funding from the state of California, and the uniquely innovative approach to workforce education that Joby's engaged upon, there's a potential for this revolution. So we have a nascent mechatronics program here at CSUMB, but we are not alone in this. Our community college partners, UCSC, potentially Naval Postgraduate School, we are engaged in trying to collaborate to facilitate this, and that kind of collaboration is what we believe is necessary. We're not Stanford. So with that, let me welcome you once again to CSU Monterey Bay. I hope you have a slightly drier but highly productive day. So thank you very much. It's all
That was fantastic, not only with the visual aid, the prop of the mushroom, the analogies, and but just you can see that Larry's vision is so closely aligned with ours, and to have a strong partner with the university is so important. So that was Larry. Now I'm going to bring in, let's see if I can do this, bring in our Congressman Jimmy Panetta for a pre-recorded message. While he was here last week, he's back in D.C. this week. So he sent along a message here. And let me see if I can do this without too much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Congressman Jimmy Panetta, and I represent the Central Coast of California right here in the new 19th Congressional District. It's an honor to have you here, and I just want to take a quick moment to welcome you to the 2022 Drones, Automation, and Robotics Technology Symposium at CSUMB. I want to thank CSUMB for hosting, but I also want to thank Monterey DART for your vision and work to support new technologies and industries, especially right here along the Monterey Bay. Now, as many of you know, our region, it's kind of a hotbed of innovation for DART technologies, as we're anchored with universities like CSUMB and across the bay there at UCSC, Santa Cruz. And we got innovative companies like Joby Aviation, and we got conveners like MBEP, the Monterey Bay Economic Partnership. All of it, I believe, provides a pretty strong foundation upon which you can transform industries from transportation to infrastructure to our agriculture. That's really going to help us protect our environment and, yeah, our national security. I also think it's appropriate that this year's theme of the symposium is focused on advanced air mobility, or AAM as we call it, but also the workforce that's needed to get that industry off the ground. Yes, that was a pun that was intended. As your federal representative for this area, though, I am proud to foster AAM back in Washington, D.C., by being one of the co-chairs of the Advanced Air Mobility Caucus. It's a caucus that is based in Congress that seeks to inform other members of Congress about the promise of AAM, but also developing partnerships so that we can get over the barriers to get us on our way to making sure that industry gets off the ground. Look, we got to work together to ensure that there is a federal pathway for next generation aviation technologies, whether manned or unmanned. And we got to rely on our partnerships, yes, in Congress, but also with all of you to make that happen. And we can make that happen with smart and sound policy. And also we can do that to make sure that the federal government is doing its job with proper, timely, and efficient regulatory frameworks necessary for your success. Now, I hope this symposium provides opportunities for you to connect, collaborate, and coordinate across the educational, government, and industry sectors, and to help each other learn about each's work and also the future of AAM and other DART technologies. Now, before you get too bored with this video, I also want to say that as you interact with the federal government, please know that I am here to help, because the last thing that I want is for bureaucracy to stand in the way of your innovation. Now, I don't promise I'm going to get it done like that, but I do promise that I will push that bureaucracy to make sure it does its job for you. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for attending this symposium, and I look forward not only to working with you, but also hearing and seeing about your work and vision for our future. Thanks, everybody. Have a good symposium.
We're sorry we couldn't have him here, but we appreciate the effort, and he has actually provided that for us for now the third year in a row. So we're really happy to have a close, let's see if I can get this back up, partnership with Jimmy and his staff.